Papa's Fight for Freedom by Delight Kim. My name is Eliza Scott, the daughter of the African-American freedom fighter Dred Scott. He was known for being one of the first African Americans who were brave enough to stand up for himself and went from court to court in his desperate search for freedom. He was born somewhere in the 1800s. His first slave owner was Peter Blow. 8 years before I was born, they moved to St. Louis, Missouri. Papa was sold there to John Emerson. When I was born in 1838, my parents were so happy. But when I turned 3, the giggles, jokes, and jolly smiles disappeared. Sad smiles, tears, and whispers spewed from our mouths. I began working with Mama at age 4. When she neatly folded our mistress's satin dresses and smoothed the crinkled spots, she would pile them up in a big basket. Then, with the basket in my arms, I would stumble towards the mistress's room and knock on the door. I would say, "Mistress, your clean clothes are here, my mistress." When I heard a chirpy, "Just get my dresses in, girl," I knew she was in a good mood. "You better come in quick and dust my dresser too," was when she was in an unpleasant mood. I would then have to wait until she said her good mood statement again. That was one of the many jobs around the house. Papa built tool sheds and worked out in the fields. Even on rest, he didn't take a break. He worked and worked. Mama, mistress, or master didn't know why, but I did. He wanted to get over with it quickly so he could think about his freedom. He would think of reasons and questions. Papa constantly thought of freedom. 2 years later, Emerson was laughing and chattering on with his guests. Mama and I rushed around, serving and making food, putting platters and glasses out. Then suddenly, Emerson stilled in his seat. Then he toppled over his chair and his face smacked onto the ground. He moaned with pain as a large purple and blue bruise bloomed on his forehead and left cheek. Mistress screeched like a banshee, and she ran across the room as fast as her puffy satin dress would allow her to. She shook him and kept repeating, "Wake up, my love. Speak. Please wake up. Don't go, my dear. Please." Tears streamed down her pale cheeks like a fast river of clean snow. Papa, who was strong, took his body while me and Mama sprinted to his room. We fluffed his cushions and straightened his blanket, drizzling medicinal tea into his throat. He made no movement, and soon we were all wearing black and saying prayers. Then Papa finally decided to go and ask for freedom. Mistress went on the carriage with him, and even though Papa told me to stay with Mama, I begged the mistress to take me with her. Mama needed a witness. She bit her lip, but said, "Then get a move on, girl," and I got to go to court. I wasn't allowed to go inside because I was African American, so I stayed outside with one of the white guards. His name was Robert Sterling. He stayed quiet the whole time. I watched Papa from a window. He was nothing like I had seen before. His eyes flared with determination. His fists and jaws clenched. Yet Papa came out of the courthouse sad and powerless-like. Mistress was at his side. His lips curled into a satisfied, cruel smile. But I knew that Papa would be free. He would. Years passed, and soon I was 19 years old. Papa staggered towards the United States Supreme Court, cut and bruised by the sharp words of the judges who denied him. The 9 white judges towered over him, but to me, Papa looked brave, undeniably brave. He looked like a star, a glowing, powerful man. He gave out reasonable answers to the judges. He spoke to them in a firm but polite manner. Yet, Chief Justice Roger Taney didn't agree. He stated that because of Papa's race, he was not a citizen and had no right to sue under the Constitution. They rejected him and sent him home with sad news. We continued to work for the mistress, dusting bookshelves, mopping the floors, shining the booths, and working out in the fields. Finally, she seemed like she was tired of us. She left us at the auction block. We stood there with ragged clothes and no expression. Soon we were sold to the Blow family, descendants of our original owner. We worked there for a couple of months. Then they gave us the best gift an African American could receive: freedom. They set us free. freedom. Ah, that beautiful, lovely word, freedom. Papa, Mama, and I were pulling out platters and making food when they announced something after dinner. They announced, "Dred, Harry, and Eliza, we grant you freedom." Mama let go of the glass platter she was holding and it crashed onto the white marble floor. Papa's mop slid across the room. I didn't do anything but scream. I was waiting for this happy scream for ages. Papa gathered me and Mama in his arms, and we sobbed. We thanked them 1,000,000 times. They smiled broadly and nodded. We packed our belongings along with parting gifts the Blows gave us. We rushed out the door, shrieking with glee. I swirled and twirled in the grass. It was the greatest moment of my life. We worked in a hotel and lived in our house. Our own house! But even the best thing had bad things. Papa got ill the next year. He was so weak he couldn't work, so Mama worked both his and her job. I always stayed home, tending Papa. I wiped his brow, which was damp with cold sweat. I fed him hot chicken soup with chamomile tea. Every few hours, I pushed a pill into his mouth. He didn't seem to get better at all. One day, he grabbed my arm. I was startled, but he spoke to me. "My dear Eliza, my beautiful 20-year-old Eliza, we don't have much time." I knew exactly what he meant. I rushed to the hotel and brought back my mother. We cried as he took his last breath. Mom and I both knew that his soul would rise up to heaven. The great Dred Scott, the African-American man who never gave up searching for his freedom, husband of Harriet Scott and father of me, Eliza Scott. His name shall be remembered on earth until the end of time.